messed up today. We got a little crud, so I apologize because I'll be doing the a lot. So I apologize for that, but we'll try to get through it. Hopefully, you'll get a ton of value out of this, despite my horrible voice, even worse than normal. So, anyway, we have, we have been in this COVID stage where, you know, there's not been one-on-ones being done. There's not been events being held, sporting events being held, all that. But things are starting to get back to where they were. Not quite, depending where you're at, how much that's still affecting you. But I think this is an opportunity to get back into talking about some live stuff because there is a great opportunity there. I want to talk about, how to crush it with live events. So you can certainly do webinars. Those are great. We can go into those at some point on the podcast. We talk about it with our coaching clients at geniusloanofficer.com. But the thing is that there is an opportunity and for some of y'all to do live events now, or if there's not now, you will have an opportunity to do live events. Heck, at this point, you may be, when you're listening to it, maybe 6 months, a year down the road when you listen to this and you're like wide open. So it will help you hopefully now, or some folks that listen to this a long time later. But crushing it with live events, we're not going to talk about how to get people there. That is a different podcast episode that we'll have to possibly do that on. And it's not about the aftermath as far as how you're going to follow up, etc. This is going to be just really crushing it while you're there, or right on the very, very lead up to being there. So why do live events? Well, you become a trusted advisor, trusted authority. Some people, people will look up to you. They are listening to you. You're leading with value, which is huge because most loan officers or anybody trying to get deals, most of them don't lead with value. They lead with coffee. Hey, let's go get coffee. Let's just hang out. You got nothing better to do, I'm sure. Just come and hang out with me. But you're leading with value. You're giving value. And like hopefully this podcast does, leads with value. We're trying to give you value. Forces you to grow. So when you go to put on an event, you are forced to grow because you're going to relearn your material. You're going to be focused in. Every time I go to do an event, I have to review my own notes, review what I'm going to say, goes through my head. There's always something I add in. Sometimes I replace stuff because it wasn't really necessary to say. You're going to be forced to grow, learn. If you want to really lead with value, then you're going to be forced to grow because you want to bring the heat. You want to, even if you have a done for you, like we have some stuff done for you with Genius Loan Officer for clients to show up and absolutely crush it. But you still, even if you have that, you have to be forced to grow because you want to learn a material. You want to be able to answer questions. It's going to force you into growth. It's a beautiful thing. And one of the big reasons is it's selling one to many. So if you are pressed for time, or, you don't love one-on-one meetings or whatever, well, you can sell one to many, which is getting in an event and absolutely crushing it. There's so Russell Brunson, if anybody knows who that is, I mean, a lot of you do. He's a great marketer out there, has a lot of, does ClickFunnels. He's knows a lot about a lot. and doesn't know a lot about a lot as well, probably just like a lot of us, right? But he was talking about he he's awkward one on one. He doesn't really he's not that one on one guy, but he can sell one to many really well. He can have great conversational tones within a one to many, having an event, having a webinar, having something of leading with value, but he can sell one to many. One to many can be maybe your one and only ticket. There is a lot of people that's really all they do. They don't cold call. They don't try to really, have new conversations. They don't have many one-on-one meetings or any at all. They're doing one to many. This can be a way to do one to many. A lot of people are scared of that. Now, why do people not take action? There's 4 reasons we talked about on another podcast, but I want to review this because it's very important. If you don't want to do this, there's 4 reasons a lot of times you're not going to want to do it. It's 4 reasons people don't take action a lot of times. They don't have a clear why, lack of a clear why. You don't know why you're going to do it. You don't have a why for your growth, et cetera, et cetera. Not a clear why. You have a lack of vision. Maybe you can't even see how this can help you. So it's a lack of vision of where you want to go. Just, you don't have the vision. A lack of direction is a huge one because, and hopefully this will help some direction in this podcast here. Lack of direction could be a huge one because you just don't know what to do. Hey, this is a big miss, by the way. A big miss in a lot of programs I've seen is they have a done for you, but they don't really tell you how to show up other than, hey, this is how to get people there. This is not really how to perform. This is not how to have a crystal clear mindset and, be empowered, which is the next one we have, which is lack of empowerment. So you have a lack of direction, which goes into a lack of empowerment. You're not feeling good. So a lot of people don't want to do it because there's something going on there. They feel bad about themselves. They feel like somebody's going to make fun of them. They feel like they're going to they have the imposter syndrome because, maybe they are doing a done for you. Maybe you've done one that's somebody else has helped you with. Well, are you one step ahead of the people that are there on something? Are you one step ahead? Are you going to be able to help? Are you going to be able to lead with value? Well, then get that out of your head. You should be empowered. Feel good about that. Dive in the material. Say it in just a little bit different way that they never heard. There's a million ways to say something, and that millionth and one way may be the avenue, the trigger that helps someone grow. That's just a part of it. So you may be that person. So feel empowered about that. Okay. But the big thing is I see all the time in programs, they don't work on the mindset behind that, or they say, here, these are done for you. I have been in platforms that is exactly what happens, right? They give you the material, but you don't know how to show up and actually do it. I want to help you with that today. This is not the extensive stuff we do at geniusloanofficer.com, but it is, give you some start and some overview of what can happen, what you can do, get you some clarity, hopefully some direction, and start sparking your mind, and trigger that into expanding your mind to selling from one-on-one to one-to-many. Okay, so how to absolutely crush it. Before you arrive, if somebody has already said they're coming, try to connect with them before you arrive. Very simple, but connect with them. Try to have some connection there. Now, depending on how you're running things, connecting could be something else of value that you're sending out. It could be another uh, nice magnet, lead magnet, because you are sharing some of the material with them. You are sharing something that's a little around the material, etc. You may have other ways to connect with them, or it may be just a connection one-on-one. You don't have all that. Hey, I just want to call and connect with them, and get a little background on them, etc., and hopefully some rapport before they show up. There's different ways you can do that at scale. There's different ways, and it just picking up the phone because they're already interested in coming and connecting with them. Number two is show up early and then connect. So regardless, show up early, be there, connect with them, have a little bit of conversation beforehand. Some people will say, hey, I wait till the event kind of shows up and have somebody else there and kind of warm the room. That's a valid point, I will say as well. There's a counterpoint to that one, which I love. I love counterpoints because sometimes, depending on the personality and how you like to show up, it's good. I've done it both ways. I like it both ways, honestly, with that, because sometimes showing up early, connecting with somebody, and then also just, waiting until everybody's in there and having my marketing assistant have everything set up and kind of warming the room up a little bit, and boom, then you just pop in, has a cool factor. So two counterpoints to do that. But when you are in the room, you need to scan and read the room. Feel the energy. So feel the energy of the room. There's energy within a room. Is it upbeat? Is it somber? Is it, is people happy? And as you look around the room, there's pockets. There could be pockets. Let's say you have 20 people there. You're going to be a pocket of 6 or 7 over here that's really having fun. Then you have 3 or 4 over here just kind of sitting by themselves. They're almost look like they're depressed. You could have different pockets, but feel the room, scan the room, pay attention to body language, tone, and then words. So really look at their body language. One of the things we teach is body language, and really studying that, because body language is huge. Really not just kind of glossing over that. And then the tone, if they're talking, if you end up speaking to them, what is the tone? Or when they're speaking to someone else, listen to or watch their body language, their tone, and their words, and listen for their words as well. Number 4, you want to be memorable. So be memorable. How can you be memorable? Through movement and or a phrase. So that is one way to do it. So you can have some movement. Now, people are really, they speak kinesthetically, visually, or auditorially. Here's if anybody's, I don't know if anybody has seen Persona out there. Persona is a vitamin company. They got different supplements. And this was so interesting because I love studying my own buying habits. So there was this gentleman, he's in his 50s, and a box comes there, and he's like, oh, I got my package here. This is great. This is why I love this place. He opens it up and he's like, here's my name on it. And this is the supplements they told me to take. And as he's talking about the product, his hands are, if you're not watching me, his hand is kind of cupped and he keeps kind of touching his kitchen island as he's speaking. If you can kind of hear that. Why is that so important? Well, because kinesthetically, as I am, that was a trigger for me. Very much a trigger for me. I was, man, between the box, just, man, I could touch this box and look, it's packed. It looks like it's packaged right. And him just doing that and pounding, not pounding hard, but just kind of really hitting the kitchen island. That was I was ready to buy, because I remember opting in, and I actually looked at their reviews and all that. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to get some supplements in. I'm going to get some vitamins. I need to get some. Let's try it out. And then as I study my own buying habits, I'm like, I didn't even realize it until after. I'm like, why was I so intrigued? Why was I so like ready to research and pretty much ready to buy? And that right there, him doing that, was a big key trigger. And you say, well, Adam, I don't do that. You have triggers all the time. You don't realize it, because you may realize it. If you do, you're self-aware. Maybe you need to start being more self-aware if you don't realize your buying habits or what is, well, no, I just love the product. Yeah, but that's rarely what happens. There's something there that resonated with you. There's something there that spoke to you. You saw it visually, you heard something, or you just kind of felt it, and that was what really was your buying trigger. We all have our different things. So when we're in a meeting, be memorable through movement and or phrase. So we want to make sure we hit all three of those. People may be visual. So when we're talking, we're giving them a vision. We're talking visually. And then you kind of can scan that room, and you see somebody starting to react to the visual, and they're visual. And they see that. And then somebody may be like with the, auditorial. That's how they really are listening. They're listening to you, but they're engaging in every single word you have. You can tell, and you're starting to speak in such a way that resonates with them. And then there's also somebody maybe in that room where you literally are touching the desk or whatever you're in front of. And that may be the thing that's memorable. Also, you can do something that obviously is really memorable. Like, for example, you probably all, if you've been listening to this or watching, I hit my hand together and limited risk equals limited income, right? I got a phrase and a kinesthetic, right? And that's memorable to a lot of people, because I've heard them, limited risk equals limited income. I've had coaching clients where they all of a sudden they're in this moment where they didn't know if they're going to take the next step, because they were kind of getting, oh man, it's going to be a risk. And all of a sudden they say, limited risk equals limited income. I guess I'll make that call. I guess I'll do that meeting. I guess I'll put on that event. So, through movement and or phrase, be memorable. Have something there that you maybe even repeat it different times throughout it. You have languaging and movement that is really yours. And you want to be intentional about that, okay? Because people will resonate with you. Some people may not like it. Here's the whole deal here, is that the worst thing you can be, the worst thing, I want to be very clear about this. The worst thing you can be in a one-on-one meeting, you can be when you're trying to sell your stuff online, when you're doing a video, when you're doing an event, is people to be indifferent. That's the worst thing. Just be indifferent. Oh man, they're good. Okay, right. And certainly we're indifferent with some people. I'm indifferent. Some people are indifferent with me. They just don't think good, don't think that. Just whatever, You would, if you got 20 people in that room and you got 20 people indifferent, you're not going to make any sales. You're not going to make any impact. You're not really the authority. However, if 5 people don't like you in a room, or 10 people don't like you in a room, and 5 people are indifferent, but 5 people freaking love you, like, what's better? Like, oh my gosh, 5 or 10 people didn't really like me. Well, who gives a rat's butt? Who cares? Because the fact is, where are you going to make your sales? Out of the 5, out of the ones that really love you, that you are memorable with in such a positive way that you made an impact on. That's the only way that you're going to really help. Indifference is the worst enemy. So be memorable, man, just have fun with it. All right. Match and mirror your audience. So always, again, be scanning that room, matching and mirroring. Get engagement with questions. Have fun with the questions. Have some laughter, get some laughter. Get them to engage. Okay. Number 7, put them in a story. I didn't say, notice I did not say tell a story. I said put them in a story. Take them and put them in a story. If you're not watching me, like I'm taking someone and I'm placing them in a story. That's what I'm doing. I'm placing them in a story. So you want to do that again through hit the 3 keys. You want to be credible and relatable. It can either be a shared experience that you have, or it could be, something you witnessed, but a story that's credible and relatable. Okay. Doesn't need to be about your rates and your services or something like that. It needs to be credible, relatable to people so they really are in your story. Storytelling is 22 times more, kind of like you probably won't remember this stat, 22 times. It's 22 times greater that they will remember a story than they remember a stat. So stories are instrumental to your one-to-manys. Tell a great story. And this works on one-on-ones and everything. So I remember I was talking to an new agent that I was speaking to, and I could tell she had a tender heart. She's a great person, cared about her clients. And so I was speaking to her, and she was also what we call as a speaker. So she likes to talk. She likes to get stories. Very, she's kinesthetic. So I was speaking to her, and she said something along the lines of, I have a problem with lenders not caring as much as I do about my clients. So what I did not do was I did not say, what, I'll tell you what, we care about our clients. Oh my gosh, let me show you how we do it. Da, da, da. Nope. I went straight into a story because I knew who I was speaking to. I was listening for all the keywords. And then I told a story. And the story was, and I'll condense this. So when I used to run at Ashley Furniture, they had what's called Life Moments Matter. And they wanted you to draw the room. So basically be in the story, right? So you're in the story, you're in their room, they're in their home, which is key vital. So, but to really get the salespeople bought in, they said, tell a story, tell what your favorite piece of furniture and why. And so this guy got up there, and I'll change his name for the sake, but his name was call him Jim. So Jim got up, and he was a 24-year-old, 25-year-old guy, usually brash, usually felt really confident, And he got up and he was noticeably shaken. He was noticeably slouched over, and he began to tell his story about the kitchen table. And he said, the kitchen table is my favorite table, and that's my favorite piece of furniture in the world. And he said, when I was 12 years old, my family went to a furniture store, went to another furniture store, and kept going to furniture stores trying to pick out the perfect table. And I was just so sick of going and trying to find a table with my family. And I was like, Mom, Dad, let's just pick a table. And finally they picked it out a table, and it was beautiful. And they brought it home. They set it in their kitchen, and they end up having these beautiful dinners there. They would sit down, have a family dinner, had Christmases there, Thanksgiving dinners there, and it was just such a joyous time. It was a family time. And then at 16 years old, he was standing there, and his dad came in. His shoulders were slumped over, and he said, "Son, sit down." And as Jim sat down, he looked at his dad, and for the first time ever, he saw him cry. As tears were rolling down his dad's face, he asked, "Dad, why are you crying?" He said, "Because you and my mom and I are getting a divorce." And Jim said, that's horrible, but like, why are you crying so bad?" As his dad began to just tears flowing. He said, "Because I know you're going to live with your mom and I'm going to miss you." And Jim said, "No, Dad, I want to live with you." And so a few days later, they started packing up, and they didn't bring much furniture, but they brought that kitchen table. That was one of the things that they were able to keep. And with that kitchen table, they had great dinners. And then at one point, then Jim finally moved out his home. He moved out his home and took the kitchen table with him. Him and his buddies had these horrible dinners, tried to cook there, and it was just hodgepodge, and they had card games there, but they had some great times around that. And he just had just the most memorable moments at that kitchen table. And one day he came home, he picked up the phone, and he said, "That was when I heard another line saying your dad passed away." As he sunk to the chair at the kitchen table, bawling his eyes out, his dad had passed. And as he got done telling the story, the whole room crying, teared up. Jim's face was full of tears. He said, "I will never get rid of that kitchen table. The kitchen table means more to me than anything that I own." And as I told the story to the real estate agent and got done with it, I said, I told that to my staff. And I said, just imagine what we're doing when we're helping people buy a home. That was a piece of furniture, but we're helping people buy a home that's never bought a home before. The people that have their families never bought a home, that they're providing for their family. That's what we're doing here. That's the mission that we're on. And as I got done telling that story, the agent cleared her throat. I said, "Wow, that says a lot about you and your team." And you know what? She sends me deals. Did I have to tell her and go through the stats? Did I have to go through all that garbage? No, I told her a story. She was in that story. She was fully entrenched in it because she could feel that. Okay. It was credible. It was relatable because people are attached to something. They're attached to their family. And that can be vital for it can be vital for our one-on-ones, and it can be vital, obviously, for the one-to-many. Okay. So got a little down and a little sad there for a minute because that's a real story. That's really what happened. That's 100% a story that was that I was in and then shared with my team. My team got out of the meeting, by the way, and charged them up because they were like, oh my gosh, this is what we're doing. It absolutely related to the real estate agent. They wanted to do business with me. They knew I cared about the client, knew how we operated with just a story. So put them in a story, get that story going, and absolutely move the needle. Okay. So number 8, focus on one individual at a time. So you want to, when you're in a one-on-many, if you're in 10, 15, 20, 5, whatever it is, if you are a one-to-many, you have to concentrate on one at a time. So you can kind of talk as you're speaking. You can speak to the whole room, but you are going to have to do a one-on-one conversational message to a one-on-one. You're going to have to look them in the eye. You're going to have to try to get engagement, smile. You are getting them light up. You want to get the ones that are your fans already in there. I was doing one of my last events I had. I was going through this. I went through a story, went through different things in the event, and I looked over at one agent, and I said something. I kind of engaged, and she in the crowd said, "I like you, Adam." Wow, right? Think that was engagement. Think that was, we were connecting. I was building rapport, trust. Absolutely. Guess what? Never asked for a deal directly. Never called and said, "Hey, please give me a deal." Guess what? Referral came. Connection, right? Because there's connection there. And you are focusing on one individual at a time as well within your presentation. So don't get overwhelmed all the time. Look for the people that are engaged. You kind of see them really, or faces lighten up, they're happy. So maybe if you're having a little trouble too, it's like focus on that one person that kind of gets your spirits up as well, and then go focus on somebody else. You're going to have some people that you're going to notice are really not going to be engaged at all. And then you kind of sometimes even have fun with it, pick on them. But focus on one individual at a time. Number 9, make it fun. Have fun, make it fun. Have fun, make it fun. Buddy, it's a party, okay? So have some fun with it. Laugh, make fun of yourself. Just have fun with it. I know that you may be scared sometimes to do these things. Have fun. You should always have fun with it. I always have fun with that. I do these every single time. I have fun because I love them personally. And even if you don't, try to look for something that you're going to have fun. Make it a good time. And then number 10 is have a call to action. So you definitely don't want to get to the end or any time else and not have anything that they can do. They could, maybe maybe it ends up being it's not straight to selling a product. If you're a loan officer, obviously you're not selling a product, you're trying to sell a relationship. But maybe it's also another micro commitment. Depends on what that is. It's obviously something we coach through as well. But have fun with it. One thing that I've had fun with, and I've said before, is just making really lighthearted of it. Said, okay, Who thinks this was so helpful that I deserve to ask you for something? Who thinks this is so awesome I deserve to ask you for something? And you might get somebody, oh yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, you're the only one. Oh my goodness, I failed and everybody else. Nobody else sounds so good. I can ask, have fun with it. Be cool about it. And then you might have a couple say, yeah, I can. Okay, good. We got a few people that don't hate me in here. Kind of have fun with it. And then have the call to actions like, well, you that actually really thought this was helpful, and you can call people a name, like Mary and Joe. You thought this was great, so I'm expecting the next referral over to me. Have fun with it. You can directly call out and be cool about it. And it's like, I ain't going to get none from John. He ain't looked at me the whole presentation. And sometimes John, that has not really gave you much, engagement or anything else, may be the one that actually ends up partnering with you as well, because you were bold enough to ask. The thing is like my last presentation, I had someone kind of almost, they were like, oh, that doesn't work. I hit it head on. It's like, yeah, it does. Let me tell you why. Well, why you think that? Of course, you can't ever take anybody from anything in sales. I'll tell you, you can't take somebody from, and this is definitely thing about this in politics. This is a proven fact. You can't take anybody from firmly believing something to, or firmly not believing in something to just all the way believing in something, or vice versa. You have to take micro steps there and get them to at least question their thought process. So I got her to question her thought process and hit it head on, and it gave me a lot more clout within the whole meeting, because I didn't just run from it. I was like, I'm comfortable with it. Let's talk about it. Let's go. And so we had about a 3-5 minute conversation about how that could possibly work. And at the end, I guess it might make sense. I hit it head on, overcame it right there, right then. It was fun. I love that. That's great. So in all these, just have fun with it. You're not going to be perfect with them. Nobody's perfect with them, first of all, but you continue to get better. Remember, if you do a good job, you're trying to present value. You show up with that mentality. You definitely try to go through these steps, even if you're not perfect at them. You're going to have some people that are going to resonate with you, and you're going to be able to probably partner up and do deals. You showed up with value. You didn't just call and say, hey, I need you want some coffee? I mean, I know you can't afford coffee or anything by yourself, Mr. or Mrs. Real Estate Agent. No, you can't afford coffee here. I mean, it looks like you did 100 deals last year. So that calculates to making hundreds of thousands of dollars. So no way you can buy a 97-cent cup of coffee or a Starbucks fancy Frappuccino or something for $5. No way you can afford that by yourself. So let me buy it for you. I mean, listen, I'm not saying you can't ask somebody a coffee. I don't, but you get the point. Like, can you come with value? Is there a way to show up cool and have value? Yeah, absolutely. So always try to lead with value, have fun with it, crush these live events. They're going to be available again. Webinars, those are obviously great as well. If you can get these live, hey, why not just say yes and do both of them? Selling one to many, having good call to actions, leading with value. It's going to get you deals. It's going to get you into relationships if you're doing it right. So go out there, as always, absolutely crush it. If you need help, you're a loan officer, you want to add 5 or 10 loans a month, and you want to do it in 6-hour days, we have the formula for that. We have the coaching platform. I personally have done that. So got me and Dallas working our tails off to always make sure that people are served inside the community. So go to geniusloanofficer.com, hit us up. We'll have a collaboration um, call there and have some fun. But in all things, always get help because we all need help. I get help. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to grow from those that are better at me at something because there's so many elements to being the best version of yourself, best business owner, or what you should feel like as a loan officer or even a real estate agent or insurance agent, whatever you're at. There's so many avenues to continue to get better, sharpen those tools. If it's sales acumen, maybe it's leadership classes you need to take. Leadership, you need a leadership coach. You need a leadership sales coach. You need a life coach. Whatever that is for you right now, make sure you get that help. Dive in. It's not good enough to just kind of like dip your toe in the sand and kind of go, okay, I'm going to read a couple books. Doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that with me either. So get the help. Absolutely continue to crush it and keep going from one failure to the next without losing enthusiasm. That is success. Limited risk equals limited income.